Welcome to Book Time with Ryan. I am Ryan, and today I'll be talking about Nobody's Fool, why we get taken in, and what we can do about it. But before we get there, excuse me, might you use the bathroom first? Thank you. This is a very good book. It was written by Daniel Simmons and Christopher Chabris. They also did a book called The Invisible Gorilla, which I don't think I've done a review for, but has been a helpful book for me in a fight against a gas station that wants to move into my neighborhood without any regard, in my opinion, for the safety and security of the children in our neighborhood. So this book is kind of about, it's very close to, I think, if you've read Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, it feels kind of like those applications of kind of behavioral economics or behavioral sciences as applied to individuals who want to commit fraud, want to take advantage of you, and how you can try to avoid it. How you can become aware of different things that you do or different things that other people do that would kind of tip you off to those risks. So the book is basically divided in half. The first half is about habits. Habits like focusing. We need to think about what we're missing in a situation. What's missing from what's being presented to us? Are we getting the full picture, or are we just getting a partial picture? Are we getting what we would expect? And are those expectations being played on when they should be providing more information? Prediction, what will we expect and what would surprise us? Commitment, be careful when you assume. What are we assuming? And is that something that the bad guy's trying to do? Have us assume something and therefore take advantage of us, even though I think they're kind of helping us along the way without specifically spelling out whatever we're assuming. And then efficiency. Ask more questions. So one of the things the book starts with, the authors start with, is we need to ask ourselves, is that really true? We need to ask ourselves, is something that's being presented to us true? And if it seems like it's too good to be true, or it seems like it totally complies with everything that we think and that we would expect, then we need to look into why that is. Is it being presented in a way that really appeals to that part of us? Or is it in fact truly in alignment with what we're thinking? Because the bad guys will prey off of us in a way that is believable. They'll do things, present situations to us that in our minds sound right or sound plausible. And humans, you and I probably, we really default to trusting, and we need to question more. Now, we can't question all the time, right? We can't efficiently question every single thing. We're geared in a way that makes us want to initially trust, because there's just too many decisions. There's too many unknowns in the day. And generally, the people that we're interacting with are not trying to take advantage of us. Some of them are, or maybe. And those are the people that we have to identify. But the problem is, you can't be 100% secure and 100% open to what's going on. You either are going to be 100% secure and miss opportunities because you're constantly filtering out the good and the bad, or you're going to be open to everything, which includes being taken advantage of. This book is really talking about how to thread the needle and get not the best of both worlds, but be able to be open but cautious, I guess. All right, so the first half is about habits, and the second half of the book is about hooks. Consistency. Appreciate the value of noise. Familiarity. Discount what you think you know. Precision. Take appropriate measures. And potency. Be wary of butterfly effects. And then the conclusion of the entire book is that we all are susceptible to being fooled, even the experts. The more in tune we are with whatever the subject matter is, the more of an expert we are in an area, the more likely it is that we will figure something out, that we'll notice something isn't right with what's being presented to us. But we're not necessarily going to have the opportunity to be the expert in the situation. Oftentimes, the mark is somebody who could be taken advantage of. And the other thing that we see sometimes is that, let's say, the Nigerian prince email scams. It's always straightforward, right? You're looking at it and you think, who is falling for this? Who is falling for really poorly worded emails with poorly spelled words, grammatical errors, and just the reoccurring theme that, yeah, something hasn't been done in my favor. I'm not going to get millions of dollars that are stuck in customs, and all I have to do is provide this kind of money, fee, whatever, to buy in so I can get the money out because some Nigerian prince wants to provide me with money and I've just been selected. Like, who falls for that? But the reality is, with spam and scam emails, you can blanket thousands and thousands of people with that. And what you want to do is weed out the people that know that it's fake, the people that aren't going to be taken advantage of, because you're going to invest, the bad guys, the Nigerian prince scam artists, are going to invest a lot of time in the small number of people who are taken in by the scam. And that work will take months to eventually separate them from their money, probably thousands of dollars. They don't want to have 50,000 people reply and have to leave those 50,000 people down the road of eventually getting their money if many of those people would be skeptics. They want to find the people that are not skeptical for the very obvious initial scam so that they don't waste time on a lot of people who will eventually back out of whatever the scam is. I like this book a lot. I think a lot of it reminded me of behavioral economics. A lot of it reminded me of Daniel Kahneman's Thinking Fast and Slow, Kahneman and Sunstein's more recent Noise, Cass Sunstein's book about nudges, and Richard Thaler's book about misbehaving. I have a whole shelf. It's this shelf are these kinds of books. This shelf. I love these kinds of books. And I felt like where Kahneman's gets a little heavy sometimes. Another one is, if you like Michael Lewis, I think it's The Undoing Project, where I think Kahneman's work gets a little heavy. This is definitely made for everyone. It doesn't go into the really heavy stuff in this area. It really kind of gives away, hey, here's the situation. Here are a lot of examples, which is some of the really fun stuff in this book, are the examples of people being taken. Not because we want to see people getting taken, but just there's some really interesting examples of scams, frauds out there. But I feel like this is done in a way that allows the reader to put themselves in the shoes. It's not so much detailing experiments or testing. It's really just giving you an example of different scams, different examples of fraud that happen every day, and how those frauds, those scams prey on certain behaviors, certain attributes that people have. They touch on certain things, believable situations, some preconceived notions that people have, and hooks them in a certain way so that they're taken advantage of in the end. And it allows you not necessarily to avoid all of that. I think that's even the conclusion is that you may be taken advantage of. Sometimes you're going to be the fool. But it gives, I think, tools to just have you take a moment to think, is this too good to be true? Is somebody trying to take advantage of me? And if they are, how can I identify that quickly, painlessly? Or how do I figure out that it's not happening and just move on with my life? How can I do this in an efficient way so it's not interrupting my daily life, but I'm also protecting myself from scams. And I think they did a really good job of that. I like these two guys, Daniel Simmons. Simons or Simmons? I don't know. This is another one of those names where I get really confused. And Christopher Chabris. I emailed them a couple years ago about their other book, New York Times bestseller, The Invisible Gorilla, and they were responsive. It was really cool for them to get back to me and answer some of my questions and provided me with some guidance that I felt like I could use for this fight we're having with a gas station, for the community, as an owner, as a homeowner. When I found out that they had this book coming out, I saw Diane Henricks. She mentioned this book. I like her writing. I've read 2 of her books. She has a 3rd one coming out in the next month or so. So when I realized that this had come out and it was by these 2 professors and authors that I liked, I had to get it. And I read it relatively quickly, and it was enjoyable, and it was thought-provoking, and I would just recommend it. It's not for a behavioral economist. It's not for a psychologist or psychiatrist. It's really for the rest of us, and it really does highlight certain things that we can do to protect ourselves every day and live normal lives. I gave it 5 stars, and I really liked it. And I think it's a great addition for that shelf there. But check it out. Nobody's Fool. And I will oh, you know what? It's kind of weird. They talk about blurbs for books and how we shouldn't trust blurbs necessarily, because we don't know what wasn't included. What people said, no, I'm not going to blurb this book. Really how much time some of the people that blurb books have to provide blurbs for the book. And then there's praise on the back of it for the book. Just funny. I thought that was funny. It would have been funny if they would have actually mentioned that in the book, that even though we're saying this is not necessarily the most helpful information provided to prospective readers, we're going to provide it anyway in our book. I'm guessing they didn't have a say, probably the publisher's call, but it was still funny. So check it out. Loved it. These guys are cool, and they have some really interesting things to talk about in here, so I think you would enjoy it. All right, have a good one. Bye.